Okay, so I haven't been able to make any sense of this show whatsoever, and right now we're on episode 3, Prisoners of Love. So I've decided to bring in someone to help me. Hi, Brad.
Hi.
So, this is your first Adventure Time episode, am I right?
First time seeing it all the way through. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what symbolic meanings came alive to you watching this incredible experience?
I'm on like a kind of a lack of sleep. I'm not even convinced that actually happened.
Yeah,
For
see,
all I
that's
know, you
why I
just
wanted to
showed
show
me-
you. Because I know you haven't gotten much sleep.
For all I know, you just showed me a black screen. You're gonna convince me that what I just saw actually happened.
But if you could say what actually happened and that there was some importance and meaning to your life, how would you do so?
I sat there during the opening credits.
Which made a lot of sense, I'm
Or
sure.
it's like, where like, I'm sitting like, whoa, slow down. We're in the ice mountains, we're in the forest, we're in the desert here, like, is time just going in fast motion for me
I'd say
right
the
now?
first episode has no intro. It doesn't say like, well, this is Finn, this is Jake, these are their adventures, this is where they... None of that. It pretty much starts like this episode that you've just seen.
And this is the third episode
Yes.
of the entire series.
But there's nothing you need to see beforehand that explains anything.
Really? So, like, random stuff just kind of happens, like how in this particular episode, Jake the dog just turns giant all of a sudden.
Apparently he can do that. It has never been clarified or anything like that.
That's what I was having problems It's not the only thing I was having problems keeping up on.
I'd be impressed if that was the only thing.
One of them was like, yeah, that was the only thing that confused me. Was like, I leaned over to you and was like, is it established that he can do this? Because all of a sudden he's like the size of Clifford, and his hand turns into a key.
Yes, and he just sort of does that as never explained. The only other character we've seen before this, because there's a bunch of princesses in this prison and the lumpy space princess, which you're like, LSP. I'm like, lumpy space princess. Duh.
Yeah, of course it's a character.
That's like the only carryover from any of the other episodes. Everything else it's like...
Now.
Yeah, no, and then knowing that now ties it all together, right?
Evil Wizard Whitebeard wasn't in there beforehand.
First appearance.
Well, they got to establish the villain at some point, I guess.
That's the way to do it, I guess. Yeah, no, so this is pretty much... Just help me out with this, because you like Ren and Stimpy. We both like Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
I grew up liking it, but I grew up with it as, a kid, enjoying it. I mean, it...
I certainly had the animation style of something you would see in, like, early 90s Nickelodeon. And I have friends who have really similar taste in humor as me, who really like this show. So maybe, like, I don't know, maybe some episodes really... Like, I seem to know of an episode that directly references, of all things, Blue Velvet.
Yeah. Oh, what, of Adventure Time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That'd be interesting.
He put his disease in me, man. So I don't know, like... But sitting there just watching that one episode... And just going off of that, like, I don't know, maybe some other episodes are like, pretty funny. Really, I didn't even think that was that bad, because I do kind of like random humor.
It's so random. I mean,
it is very, very random, but for me, the difference between random and just straight up surreal, because when you get into, like, just surreal territory, that's when stuff starts losing. Like something like Super Jail, where it's like not even the most powerful drug in the world can get me interested in this. Like, it's just people screaming at each other and hacking each other up with, like...
Oh, there's like no story or no anything.
Yeah, like at least the humor is all random. It's like suddenly he's got a key on his hand, suddenly he's big, suddenly there's like Hot Dog Princess.
Yeah.
But if you actually... There is a semblance of a story that's going on.
Yeah, and it's constantly breaking from the story and from the characters and stuff, and that's where the humor comes from. But it's one of those things where it's like, when you watch it, because, I mean, I remember I was telling you about, like, this show hurts me. You're like, oh, it's that bad? I'm like, not necessarily bad. Like, I can't say it's bad, but I can't describe it. And it's one of those few shows where, because, like, even that weird shit you're talking about, where if it's just surreal shit, no story or anything, it'd be artsy fartsy, whatever, But
not even that I think stuff like that is necessary. I mean, not all of it. Something like Super Jail. It's not that I necessarily think it's artsy. I just think it's designed for people who are on some powerful shit. And I can't make heads or tails of anything on that particular show, but at least this, yeah, the humor is certainly out of left field. It's very random. You don't know what's going to happen, but there is a point A and a point B in terms of the story that was going on. It was they're abducted by the Ice King or whatever, and then they go into a prison cell, which honestly they really could squeeze
through the bars. Yeah.
But that really should have been their plan A. And then there's like Strawberry Princess, Hot Dog Princess, which I kind of got a kick out of. That was kind of.
I like when they're all playing the instrument. Yeah. She's just there going.
Yeah.
Just hitting the floor.
And he wants this because he wants to marry all of them, so he's kidnapping them and hoping against all odds.
I'm trying to figure out which one he wants.
I want to know which one I want. I'm gonna keep them in the cellar and pray to God they come down with Stockholm Syndrome.
Because marriage is like a very delicate thing.
Yeah, like I've seen this storyline, and it's usually not in a children's show.
It's usually like in a psychotic, scary film.
It's usually in like in a Jack Ketchum movie or something like that. Not like that's usually the stuff that gives me nightmares. Not like, oh. Yeah, the kids will enjoy this.
I kept saying, like, this is like if someone got really high and forgot they were babysitting someone, and the kid was like, tell me a story, and this is the story they would tell.
Well, there was a dog and a kid. His arms moved like Mr. Fantastic. They're on a snowy mountain, don't ask why. Their sled gets broke, I don't know, dog turns big, he rides on the dog.
Oh, the sled was a chair, by the way. It was.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, yeah, okay. I guess that was a dumb thing to question.
Come down to Springfield sometime. You'll see
people. Plenty of those.
Yeah, you'll see people sledding on like a sheet of tinfoil.
So maybe the chair sled's not straight.
You're like, I broke my tailbone. Well, yeah, you broke your tailbone. You're sledding on Saran wrap. What do you think is going to happen?
So now that you've seen this show that has a huge following, I mean, we've gone to cons, we've seen like tons of people dressed up like these characters, you know, the white.
Yeah.
I still don't know what that hat is. I don't know if that's like a bear or a rabbit or what, but
yeah.
I mean, do you look at this and be like, oh, I get it, or what the hell is going on, or what's your impressions of this show?
I chuckled like once in this episode, but it appears to have the same kind of. No, maybe not this, because I really am just going by this and some stuff that I've heard, but it seems to have very much a similar kind of random humor to it that you would see on something like Ren and Stimpy, although Ren and Stimpy kind of... Anything Ren and Stimpy might have been more over the top than this. But Ren and Stimpy was certainly cheerfully over the top.
Ren and Stimpy would usually sort of stay in one spot, you know, like in terms of like a story, and it's like this kind of does, but like it was always sort of the two of them and maybe another character would come in. This always has like 5 or 6 or 8 characters going on. They're constantly doing weird things and saying weird things, and there's like very rarely a normal moment in it where Ren and Stimpy, part of the joke could be they could just sit and look at something for like a minute, you know, and nothing would happen because it was that strange. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell to talk about in these vlogs, because every episode is like this. I'm just like, how do I analyze this? How do I talk about this? And I don't know if it's like, dude, am I totally failing at this? Like, or is there just really nothing to talk about? Or it's like, because it's such a huge hit. I like analyzing what makes some things a big hit. Like, why is it catching on with some people? But it's like, that's sort of my thought, but... I mean, I was watching it like, oh my god, if I was stoned right now, I would love this.
My friends who are big fans of this show, do they smoke pot? Yeah.
I mean, that's my first thought watching it. I was like, oh my god, if I was high as a kite, this would be like my heaven right now, and I would be roaring on the floor with laughter.
Random humor can be really, really funny, and I can kind of be like, because there was a couple jokes in there that worked on me. The random humor can be, I like kind of random stuff because okay, in this let's say the part where the hot dog princess is just playing an instrument in this band by herself, that's that's random, certainly. Like, you can't predict that something like that's gonna happen. Unless your weed is so powerful you see in the future.
And you can actually predict this.
Yeah. I don't even think the writers of the show could predict it. But, but with it being so random like that, it's like, there is technically... context might be too heavy of a word, but it's not like there's no context that happened. It's just like, okay, I can envision that happening in that instance. It's not, whereas something surreal, it just wouldn't be fluid at all. It would just be a string of stuff that doesn't really tie in together, and there's really not much, just loud noises, loud banging, and just screaming at the TV. And the one
thing I said about this show that I said was pretty cool, aside from it being like bright and colorful and stuff like that, is that the hard thing with really like random out there humor is that it relies a lot on surprise and just being random. And when you get in a formula of that, it's hard to keep it going. Like even Monty Python, I mean, you like Monty Python. I mean, we love Monty Python, but even we sort of know like in the show, like after a while, you start to predict some of these jokes, like even they're gonna make you think it's going this direction, but it goes another. Here, like, you cannot predict what the hell is gonna happen with half the stuff in these characters. So, I mean, and that is harder than it sounds. Like, it's difficult to do.
Yeah, because you sit there and you're kind of like, well, why wouldn't he suddenly have giant legs and be walking through the mountains with them riding on his back? Sure, and the universe that they've established here... Fine, that can happen. He suddenly has tall legs and he's walking through the mountains. Honestly, if anything, he probably should have used that power to get them out of that prison. He probably could have broken through.
He probably could have gotten really small and gotten through.
Well, he's frozen in a block of ice. Just make himself bigger. In fact, I was getting really worried about him for a second because
his head is just there.
His head is out and he was turning blue. Like that can't be a good sign. Like he's got to be dying.
So. Knowing that every episode is pretty much like, or at least it seems the first 3 episodes are like this, should I keep doing this vlog series or should I just get out?
If it goes along and you have more stuff to say, you know what I mean? Like it'd be harder, if you're saying the same thing about every single. I don't know how the rest of these episodes are.
The first 3 have pretty much been like this, and that's my. It's like I'm going through therapy. It's like I'm talking about this patient, like whether or not I should give up on this patient.
How many episodes are there?
Like 60-something. There's a shitload. So I'm just trying to figure out, it's like, should I actually keep doing this? And should I keep talking about this?
That way, when it's over, you could do an episode on the Shyamalan adaptation.
There you go. I love the way you say Shyamalan. It's probably the right way, but... Shyamalan, yeah. It's like, that's how it's spelled, but everyone says Shyamalan. But, we're crackers, so I have no idea that's actually correct. But, yeah, so...
It's because I'm 1/18th Shyamalan.
There you go. So, okay, so... I don't know if... I'm gonna try and keep doing these guys.
Yeah, for curiosity's sake, go ahead and
just to see
where it goes.
I keep saying like maybe you'll see the slow deterioration of me. I have no idea because it's like I gotta find new stuff for everyone. So I mean, thank God I had a guest star in this one, so that filled it a little bit. But this will be interesting.
Well, I hope that I help because. Lord knows I'm now confused. At least you've seen a couple episodes of it already. Like, for all I know, I'm dreaming right now.
It's a similar feeling. That's sort of the feeling the show has. So, I'll see you next time on Adventure Doug Therapy Time.